Hello everyone, my name is Kitetsu and welcome back to my channel. So in this video I want to talk about something that kind of sprung off the back of the last video I did, and that one was all about whether Age of Sigmar is actually as bad as people make it out to be. Now obviously it's not. I'm not going to start that whole debate up in this video because some people have some really valid reasons as to why they don't like it. But something I mentioned in that video was the issue of whether Age of Sigmar's factions are too small, whether there are enough models in them, and to be honest that didn't really ever bother me too much. Like, it's something I'm aware of that people have brought up, but it's not something I personally have really cared about. But two things happened on my birthday that got me thinking, actually maybe there is more to this issue than I first thought. I kind of had like a mini revelation, I guess you'd say. If you know me at all by now, you will know that the Daughters of Khaine is something that was pretty high up my birthday list, and having very generous family members, they pretty much got me absolutely everything in the list, apart from the Melusai and Kinerai which come out this Saturday. But the collector in me then thought, well hang on a minute, I actually like collecting these armies. I like having a range of different options I can purchase kind of in the future, so there's always something for the army that I'm looking forward to, like maybe saving up for and buying. But having got everything for my birthday, it kind of just ended up leaving me a little bit disappointed. I mean, what you're seeing in front of you right now is literally every single box that is available to the Daughters of Khaine, and there are only 6 of them, which is not a very large amount. Now I know some of you will turn around and say, well the Cauldron of Blood can actually make quite a lot of different things, and the Witch Elves, Melusai and Kinerai are dual build kits, so you can choose different options as to what you want to build. But then at the same time, personally, when I look at the new kits that are coming out at the weekend, although they look absolutely incredible and really awesome, and it's nice to have some model variety on them, the changes aren't so drastic that they look like something entirely different. It almost feels to me like buying a box of Kurnoth Hunters and arming them with the swords versus the bows. And I know the differences are actually greater than that because there are differences to the armor or helmets that they're wearing, but at the same time it's not like radically different from a collector's perspective at least. If you collect an army like, say, the Ironjaws, you will see just naturally massive variation sometimes within a unit. So I think, to be honest, at first glance, some people would be forgiven for thinking these are actually just the same units with different weapon options. But then it made me think about my Sylvaneth, which I absolutely love the Sylvaneth. You guys will probably know that because when I started this channel up, they were the first ones I wanted to talk about. And I love them now as much as I ever did. But I suddenly thought, part of that excitement has gone, and I was trying to work out why. And I think basically it boils down to the fact that I have every single model from the Sylvaneth faction already. And again, what you're looking at here is absolutely every box that you can buy, apart from the start collecting one, of course. And again, I know the Tree Lord makes 3 different options, and I know there are 2 different versions of the Tree Revenants, and you can arm your Kurnoth Hunters in a different way. But to me, it's a very small army, and that kind of detracts from the excitement of collecting them, when, to be honest, the collection can be over very quickly. I mean, if we go back to the Games Workshop Age of Sigmar homepage for a second and just expand, say, the Order faction, I mean, look at this. Everything from, I'd say, Shadow Blades all the way up to the Ironworld Arsenal, I don't think any of these should actually even exist. They aren't true factions in their own right. I mean, look at this. Shadow Blades have 1 figure in there. That's not a faction, that's not an army. To be honest, they have fragmented these factions to the point where half of them are not even a faction, even in their own right. It's completely pointless, to be honest, and I think thematically you could quite easily put Shadow Blades in with, I don't know, the Free Peoples, for example. But even like the Ironworld Arsenal, look how many Dwarven units we've got. We've got this one, we've got the cannon, we've got the organ gun, and we've got the cogsmith. And even when Games Workshop bundle the Dispossessed together, they've even put one of the little copters in there as well. So even they know, I think deep down, that it's completely ridiculous to separate them out. But to anyone else, if you want to take a Dwarven cannon in a dwarven army, or Dwarden as they're now called, you have to take it as an ally, which absolutely makes no sense whatsoever. I mean, look at the Stormcast Eternals. They have 55 different things you can buy, and the next most popular, or biggest faction, I guess you'd call them, having 30 different options that you can buy, and I know that includes books and stuff, but you get the point I'm making. It's literally about half the size, which is pretty ridiculous. Now, I know, obviously, same as 40k, they're going to focus on the poster boys. There's going to be more Stormcast Eternals, and there's going to be more Space Marines. But to be honest, they've even got to the point now where they're actually releasing stuff that seems completely pointless. If I look at, here he is, if I look at this guy, for example, Gabriel Sureheart, who was it who even asked for this figure? Like, where was the demand? Because he is so generic and boring that I just can't understand why they bought him out. First of all, I'm not a fan of the sculpt. I don't like the helmetless head that they've given him. Secondly, we already have a Lord Celestant model on foot. And the other thing is, I don't know if this guy is in any of the books because I'm not fully up to date on them. So if you guys know something about him that I don't, let me know down below. But his lore is non-existent. There is no backstory to him. Everything written here is just generic drivel that you could apply to any Lord Celestant. And this is me who actually collects Stormcast Eternals, okay? Even I think this figure is completely pointless. Yeah, look, there you go. There's the other one on foot, which is a perfectly good model, and in my opinion, it actually just looks better anyway. But if you actually do look at the novels that I have read, there are actually some very interesting Stormcast Eternal characters. I'm pretty sure if you asked anyone who had actually read a lot of the novels, whether they would rather have a model of, say, Gardas or Gabriel Sureheart, where one is like a really good and developed character and the other one is just a nobody, I'm pretty sure I know what everyone would say. I said there were basically my two mini revelations on my birthday, and the second one was to do with 40k, because in all honesty, at the moment, I've got so much Age of Sigmar that I need to build and paint. You know, I'm collecting Stormcasts, I'm collecting Daughters of Cain, Caradron Overlords, Sylvaneth Fireslayers, Wanderers, Skaven, Blades of Khorne, Maggotkin of Nurgle, Ironjaws, you name it. I'm collecting a lot of stuff. So I also got a whole load of vouchers for my birthday, and I thought, do you know what? Let's just do a mini side project of 40k, because I haven't collected them properly in years and years. Some of the armies look very different now to when I last properly looked at them. You probably got from the last video I made that I collect a small amount of AdMech, and I've got some Death Guard models and Primaris, like a really small number of those. So really I don't have very much 40k at the moment. I used to be all about Emperor's Children and the Black Legion and Abaddon and all of that stuff. But yeah, I was looking my way down the list and nothing was really standing out to me at all, to be honest, because overall I do prefer the whole swords and magic and bows and arrows to the guns and sci-fi. But first I thought maybe some Tau, and then I thought, no, actually I really like the look of the Orks, and I've never even considered collecting them before. But basically, to cut a long story short, I was just absolutely blown away by the size of the army and the variety of the models within it. Like, even the boxes that are multi-build kits, like for example the Looters and the Burner Boys, I didn't even realise that that was the same kit, apart from this guy at the front who's a dead giveaway. Otherwise I had no idea. And you definitely couldn't say the same about the Melusai or the Kinnerai. But yeah, there's just a huge range of models here. There's 5 pages of stuff you can buy for the Orks, and don't get me wrong, there's stuff here that I don't like that much, but because there's so many different units, you could follow a path of collecting that avoids the stuff you don't like, and you could still be very happy with what you ended up buying. Now, some of you might turn around and say, well, to be honest, some of these Ork models are quite old, like the Ork Boys I recognise from a long time ago, and this model here has been out for literally as long as I've been in the hobby. So yes, there are old models here, and you might say, well, because the faction is older, it's therefore got a larger range of stuff within it, and that is simply not the case, because the Sylvaneth, for example, were once a part of the Wood Elves, and they've kind of just split them apart, added a few new units, and called it a separate faction. And then the other half is obviously the Wanderers, but in reality, those models have been around just as long as the Orks have, I would assume at least. Like, we're going back a very long way, and there's no reason why any of the factions in Age of Sigmar should be as small as they are. But anyway, that's pretty much everything I wanted to say for this video. I'd be very interested to hear what all of you guys think about about this particular topic. Do you think the armies in Age of Sigmar are too small? Does it create an issue with you as a collector? Does it make you get bored of your factions a little bit quicker? I think to me it explains why I like 1,000-point games in Age of Sigmar a lot more, partly because I like the flow of them and the pacing and the timing and all of that side of things, but also because it means I don't have to have an army that is so repetitive in its structure. Like, you don't have to buy loads and loads of the exact same box in 1,000 points. You can get away with a lot more diversity. And I guess, to be honest, that's probably why I collect so many different factions in Age of Sigmar, because at the moment each one maybe is just not quite fulfilling the collector's bug that one massive faction like the Orks from 40k might. But like I said, I'm really interested to hear you guys discuss this in the comments. Don't forget to like the video, don't forget to subscribe if you are new, and you can support me on Patreon of course, and the link for that will be in the description. But yeah, I apologise it took me a while to get this video out. It's been like the video from hell. My microphone had a massive issue with it and I was freaking out thinking that I'm gonna have to go and buy a new one, and then it turned out it was just some stupid setting on my computer, and then on top of that I had a massive file corruption, so the whole video got deleted. But you know, this is about the 4th time lucky with this video, so fingers crossed it's all good and it's all ready to go up tonight. But yeah, there's tons I need to update you on. There's so many discussion videos that I want to talk about, because to be honest, it's actually quite fun every once in a while, moving away from the rumours and the news stories, and just generally taking a bit of a reflection on the hobby as a whole. That being said, I do really want to update you on what's been going on with Malign Portents and, you know, all of these different things too, especially Slaanesh. But I will be back really soon with another video, so until then, stay awesome.